Marriage licenses are being handed out in states that until today had banned same-sex marriage. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Natalie Hurst.
And I'm Brent Hunsaker. Craig Boswell breaks down the historic decision from the Supreme Court in our top story.
Same-sex marriage is now the law of the land. It was a little too much for Pam York-Smith, who sued to have her name added to her son's birth certificate.
Overwhelmed and overjoyed and really proud to be an American today.
The 5-4 decision fell along conservative liberal lines, with Justice Anthony Kennedy giving the swing vote. He wrote, "Marriage is a fundamental right in which homosexual couples must share, and it would also be a violation of equal protection to extend that right only to heterosexual couples."
Within just a few sentences, I was just crying.
Jim Obergefell is the lead plaintiff in the case. He sued to have his name added to his late spouse's death certificate.
If it weren't for knowing him and loving him, I would have never become part of something like this.
President Obama praised the decision of the court.
This ruling will strengthen all of our communities by offering to all loving same-sex couples the dignity of marriage across this great land.
The conservative justices on the court each wrote their own dissent, but all agreed states should be allowed to create their own laws.
There's nothing in the Constitution that requires states to recognize marriage in the way the court has radically redefined it as such.
Within hours, this couple got married in Dayton, Ohio, where it was illegal before today. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
Today's ruling is the biggest expansion of marriage since the court struck down bans on interracial marriages in 1967.
Idaho's Governor Butch Otter says this ruling is truly disappointing.
In a statement released shortly after the ruling was announced, Otter said, quote, "I have maintained from the very beginning that it should be the prerogative of the states, not the courts, to determine whether same-sex marriage is consistent with the values, character, and moral fabric of that particular state." The governor declined to talk on camera. The legal battle for same-sex marriage in Idaho has been going on for many months.
Even after couples were allowed to marry in October, Governor Otter continued to look at other options. Today, the options have run out.
There's no effective appeal from a decision of the Supreme Court. It becomes the law of the land. The only way that a constitutional interpretation of the Supreme Court can be altered is to amend the Constitution itself. That would require act of the Congress or act of the several states.
Mr. Leroy also pointed out state programs, federal rights, and official government action cannot discriminate on the basis of same-sex marriage.
The governor's battle to defend the gay marriage ban here in Idaho has cost taxpayers. The first round totaled more than $91,000. Then, in January of this year, Idaho's Constitutional Defense Fund Committee approved more legal bills in Idaho's court fight over gay marriage. The panel unanimously voted to pay about $401,000 to the winning side for the attorney's fees and printing costs. The panel also voted 3-1 to pay $55,000 for outside counsel to appeal Idaho's gay marriage case to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and the U.S. Supreme Court.
It's your turn to talk this afternoon. We'd like to hear what you think about the Supreme Court's decision on same-sex marriage. You can like us on Facebook and then go ahead and add your voice to the conversation.